I'd like to call to order the Enfield Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Agency meeting for July 2nd at 6 p.m. Can I have a pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. In case of a fire or emergency, you can exit through the back doors or go down these doors and down the stairs and away from the building. Roll call, please.
Donna Corbin-Savinsky.
Here.
Kevin Zorda.
Here.
Virginia Higley. Here. Kelly Hemler.
Here.
Dylan Bridge.
He's
Absent. Ann Collins. Absent. Chris Renault.
Here.
Ken Kaufman.
Here.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to see Ken and Chris. Okay, public communications and petitions. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak regarding items not on the agenda? Again, is there anybody who wants to speak on items not on the agenda? One last time, anybody want to speak regarding items not on the agenda? Seeing none, moving forward. Correspondence, I have none. Anybody have anything? Nope. Okay. Next is minutes of preceding meetings for June 18th.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of meeting of June 18th, 2024.
Second.
Second is Ginny, so we have a first and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call?
Donna Corbin-Savinsky.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley. Yes. Kelly Hemler.
Yes.
Chris Renault.
Yes.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
6 in favor, motion passes. We did get a town attorney report dated June 25th regarding items in litigation. Continued public hearings, we have none, but we do have one scheduled for our next meeting of July 16th for some amendment changes. New public hearings is none, old business is none, new business.
I'd like to make a motion to move item D, IW number 706, to right after IW 704 to make it C.
Okay,
Second.
who's second? Chris, okay. Any discussion?
Nope.
Seeing none, roll call?
Donna Corbin-Savinsky.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley. Yes. Kelly Hemler.
Yes.
Chris Renault.
Yes.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
Motion passes. Okay, so first item then is AAA 138, 168 Post Office Road, agent approval request for an above-ground pool within the regulated areas. Alyssa and Joseph Fredette, applicant owner, map 53, lot 288, R33 zone. Okay, hi. Could you state your name and address for the record? Thanks.
Joseph Fredette, 168 Post Office Road.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you.
So you want to just give us a little background, or?
Sure, I'm applying to put an above-ground pool in my backyard.
Pretty simple.
Very succinct.
Yeah. Did you have anything, Georgie, for us?
He summed it up. The only thing, the only thing that I asked about clarification was any self-fencing E&S measures. Hopefully, with our text amendment in the future, this would be one of the ones that we would be able to change just to make it so they wouldn't have to wait.
Okay. Sounds good. Anybody have any discussion, concerns? No, I didn't either. Roll call, please.
So we gotta make a motion.
Oh, yeah, I need a motion. Sorry.
We're doing agent approval? Is that-
Yeah.
Okay. I will make a motion to approve to allow agent approval for the above-ground pool on AAA number 138 to 168 Post Office Road for an above-ground pool within the regulated area. Alyssa and Joseph Fredette, applicant owners, map 53, lot 288, R33 zone.
Second. Okay, Kevin and Kelly seconded it. A discussion? Yeah, so this is one of the ones that we want to do our public hearings on because it was built before the rules and changes, so, and there isn't really anything there that would disturb
Yeah.
the wetlands. So, everybody all set?
Yeah.
May I roll call, please?
Donna Corbin Sabinski.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Kelly Hemler.
Yes.
Chris Renault.
Yes.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
6 in favor, motion passes. Enjoy your pool. Yeah. Next is item IW 704, 10-Wheeler Drive, application to construct a deck within Upland Review area. Daniel Smith, owner applicant. Map 80, lot 165, R33. Hi, could you state your name and address for the records?
Yes, good evening, all, Madam Chair, members of the commission. For the record, Carl Landolina, Fahey and Landolina of Windsor Locks. I'm joined to my right by Daniel Smith, who's the property owner. Just very quickly, as you probably recall, I was in front of you a few months ago, maybe 6 months ago, I'm thinking,
that, yeah.
roughly, to replace a wooden retaining wall along the southerly border of the property and along the westerly side of the house. My client is in the concrete business, so we took down the wooden wall and put up a two-sided, essentially, concrete retaining wall. You'll also recall that there was not a lot of room along the boundary where the retaining wall was, so we had to do, instead of backfilling the exterior side, we backfilled the interior side, and that caused the need for a slab concrete 15 by 15 pad. So along with the application, you'll probably see a couple of pictures there in black and white. I'm going to pass out one of the pictures in color so you can see actually the retaining wall, and it's below the retaining wall, there's some sand or dirt fill that was put on top, but beneath that is a 1 foot deep,
I think it's 2.5 feet thick.
2.5 feet thick concrete slab.
Yeah.
This also shows the deck that's along the back of this property.
Thanks. Yeah.
So underneath that sand is that 2.5 foot concrete pad
Right.
that holds the wall up. And so we got a permit. Obviously, the water course here is Shaker Pond, which is, in this picture down below. The grade obviously starts on the street, and like all the topography near the pond, it goes down. And so he's got to walk out in the back, and then in front it sort of looks like a ranch. So you can see the existing deck that leads from essentially the first floor, not the walkout area, right to the outside. His intention would be to connect the end of that deck and place it on top of the concrete wall that's there and use it as support. You can see in the photograph, and I think I passed it, there's a notch in the upper part of that wall. So he intends to put the beams supporting the deck from the supports at an existing deck over there, so that none of the deck will be actually touching the ground. The only thing that's going to touch the ground is there's going to be stairs leading to the front of his property to attach to a walk. So there's going to be a few feet of decking material that'll lead to the walk and kind of smooth it out. That's the only thing that's touching the ground. Nothing else will. Now, I will tell you that we do need to go kicking and screaming, but we still apparently need to go back to ZBA, because although we got a variance, we're told that was only for the wall, not for the deck. So our next visit will be there. Now, if they don't give us, because the deck is within the side yard, and this deck can go to about 10 feet of the side yard, the wall stops around 5 feet. So if we put it on top of the deck, we're going to need a 5-foot variance. To the extent that they don't grant us that variance, this deck will end 10 feet from the side yard, but it'll require us, since we won't have that wall to sit on, some poles or posts of some kind that'll go on top of the concrete pad that's already under the ground there, and that'll support that portion of the deck. All right. Eventually, I think, in addition, my client is going to use the under area of that deck between the concrete pad and the underneath of the deck for like a shed or something. Now, that shed can go within 5 feet, so it'll make up that space in case we have a 5-foot deficit, and the roof of that shed as an accessory building will be right up to the bottom of the deck itself. So they might be touching in some spots, or what have you, but, so one way or the other, something will go under that, posts and maybe, so I would hope that going forward, since this would be an accessory building on that concrete slab, maybe it would be appropriate for staff to approve it rather than coming back for a third permit. I don't know. It sounds like you're going to be maybe working on your regs in that regard. Is that what I gathered? Oh, okay. All right. But, yeah, so that accessory building will be right on top of that concrete slab. So, again, you usually deal with soils. Here, nothing is going on any real soils except for a few feet of, we'll call it disturbance in the front where the concrete walk and the deck stairs will meet, I suppose. So that's really the essence of the application. So one way or another, we do need your approval, whether we're going to be able to put this on top of the existing concrete wall, or whether ZBA says no, and we have to back it up 5 feet, in which case there'll be some support beams that'll go on top of the concrete pad that's already there. So that's essentially it.
Do you have any questions or? Georgie?
Yes, I just had 2 questions. What is the concrete slab that you're referencing?
So maybe I could have my picture back.
Is that the one, is there going to be one under the deck?
Yeah, it's already, yeah, that's it. And it's already there, and that's what supports the concrete walls.
Please be careful. Which
So-
one is it this one?
Yeah, they're right there. That's existing, so that's, right now, that's,
So you want to put a shed on top of that one?
well, yes, but maybe eventually, yes. Right, so there might be a shed there.
Okay, because I thought that was to be backfilled.
It is, right now. See, it's backfilled there.
Okay,
Right.
all right. And then is the existing deck on the plan the same as the proposed deck? Same size, same shape?
What's the size of the,
On the drawing, yes.
It'll be the same as it once was?
it'll join right here
So
at that
the-
same spot. It'll
Yes,
just be,
so join there, originally there was a big set of stairs coming off the end there.
For the
And in
record.
order to get to the wall,
keep that for your record.
Sure.
Yeah.
in order to get to the wall that was falling down the stairs and the deck had to be removed to get to the wall, and now I just want to put them back up.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because the plan said existing wooden deck, and I want to make sure that was the same as proposed. And then the,
Existing wooden deck is what's shown there.
right,
Right. So it'll
and that's
just
why
be
you're getting the
extended out.
variance? Okay.
Yeah,
So the variance is to extend it out further the opposite direction?
right. So if we go on top of the wall, which is on the north of his property to the south of this line, it will require a variance, I'm told, which we have applied for.
Okay.
If we don't get it, we'll just end the deck a few feet closer to the house, because it would have to be 10 feet away from that property line. Right now, sitting on the wall, it'll be between 4 and 5 feet from the property line, if it sits exactly on the wall.
Okay, and the last thing I had was for Madam Chair to add a site-specific that the final plans will be revised to show the proposed deck wording instead of the existing deck wording once that's been, once we go through the final plan stages. And then to come back before the agency if any changes are to be made due to zoning.
Just repeat the first one again, how you want to reword it?
That final plan submissions will be revised to have the proposed deck wording instead of existing wooden deck. And then,
No, I'm sorry if I may interrupt. Where it shows existing wooden deck, that's the deck that's there. That,
you're not, so you don't have your proposed deck on your site plan?
it's going to go on top
It's
of,
on top of it.
it's on top, it says, it's going to go on top of that wall.
So then just add a note that
All
that
right.
is the proposed deck, because this plan refers to your retaining wall,
Proposed deck area, okay.
just to make it more readable.
So final plan submission will note proposed deck.
Yes, instead of existing, just to make sure that we're clarifying that. and to come back before the agency if any changes are to be made due to zoning.
Okay, so that's already on there
Yeah.
under 19,
Yeah,
Yep, just making
so we
sure.
don't have to add that
So
as
just
a
so I'm-
site-specific. Because yeah,
yeah, in the resolution itself.
yeah, but yeah, it's not a site-specific. Because we already have it on all our
Oh, we-
All our
that's your
approvals, we
standard
have it, our
conditions.
standard conditions
Right.
say they have to get all permits from whoever,
oh, okay.
Right.
town, state, federal, whatever.
Yeah.
If any of those people make any changes
Yeah.
to impact wetlands, they have to come back to us. So it's already on our regular, on our
If I may, Madam Chair.
Yes.
So
Yep.
I just want to make sure that if we don't get the variance and we have to put a post, that wouldn't be included in that provision, correct? We don't have to come back and say, can we have posts instead of putting the deck on the wall?
We could add that as a condition.
That's why I made that recommendation, because it's exclusive.
Yeah.
And if you're worried about any impacts to the lake, that would be when they would have to come back for any
Yeah, if any
changes to the
impact
site.
to the wake, but if they're gonna just put a post on the concrete,
That's, yes.
then do we want to make
Dig
them
through
come,
the fill
do we
that's
want to
on
make them
top of
come
the
back just to
concrete
put a
and just-
post in?
Put the post there.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me to have them come
back to
back
that.
just to put a post on, if that's what you end up having.
If that's it, that's all we, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you're not, it's already disturbed. And
We're not
there's already,
disturbing
yeah, you're not disturbing it, it's already concrete, you're already
Right.
doing
And
it.
if there's any questions, George, you'll see the building permit.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that's the case, then it's just the post on the slab, then I can do it through the building permit
Right.
process.
Yes.
So you can put that as a thing.
So-
But if, a condition, that if they're gonna have to, if ZBA requires the, yeah.
Say, how do you want to word this?
He's got it.
If they're required to, Attorney Landolina,
Yes.
so if you, how should we word it? If you're required to
If
add the
ZBA
post?
doesn't grant a variance,
Yeah, how should we word it?
how do you want to word it?
How do you want to word it? So you don't have to come back to
So
put the
the
post up?
applicant shall not be required to come back if all that is required, given a denial by ZBA, is to put some posts on
Posts up.
top of the concrete to hold the end of the deck up.
That he doesn't have to
That's
come back.
long-winded word.
You could say,
Did you get that?
you
We'll
you
work with
could
staff
say,
Yeah.
subject to agent approval.
Yeah, and subject to
Yeah,
staff.
instead of
Yeah.
that.
Thank you. This is being
I
recorded,
figured
so
you being an attorney, you can word it better than I
We'll
would.
work on that.
Okay, so ZBA doesn't grant variance.
And only concrete posts are needed, yeah.
Subject to
Needed.
staff review.
Yeah, subject to staff review,
Approval will be subject to staff review.
Agent approval, same thing.
same thing, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It doesn't make sense to come back for that. But of course, if you impact our wetlands, you have to come back.
So agent approval may be granted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, I will make a motion to approve IW number 6704, 10-Wheeler Drive, application for a wetlands permit for a deck within the upland review area. Daniel Smith, applicant owner, map 80, lot 165, LOD zone, with the following site-specific conditions: that the final plans submission will note proposed deck rather than existing. And number two, if the ZBA does not grant the variance and only posts are needed, agent approval will be granted.
Fine.
Second.
I have a quick question. The note about the deck, does that have to be put on by the surveyor, or is that, do I have to have him redo the drawing for that note, or can I write it on there?
He'll have to put it on.
He'll have to.
Okay. Any more further discussion? No. Can we have roll call, please?
Donna Corbin Sabinski.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
I guess I should have asked this before. We're both members of Malha Shrine. Are you okay if I vote?
What's that?
Are you okay if I vote?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Kelly Hemler.
Yes.
Chris Renault.
Yes.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
6 in favor, motion passes. Thank you
you.
very much.
Am I going to see you at my house
Kelly.
Sunday?
Pardon?
Sure.
So am I going to see you at my house Sunday?
You see, maybe.
Thank you, gentlemen. Next on our agenda is IW 706, 45 Kennedy Drive, wetland application to replace the stormwater drainage system. Drainage pros applicant Greg Winnick, hopefully I said that right, owner, map 103, lot 29, R44. Hey,
Good evening, Commission. My name is Anthony Malucci, 69 Brown Street, Bloomfield, Connecticut, Connecticut Drainage Pros. So, project's 45 Kennedy Drive in Enfield. I'm not sure if you guys have a map. Did you include one, Georgie, by chance?
Everything that you give, we give to them.
Oh, okay. So everybody's got a map. So I did print out enough, but you guys have one in front of you, the aerial view. So essentially what we have here, so I don't have a full history, the background of this project, but somebody currently came in and did this project, I believe, late November, something along those lines, and it was a failure. Pipes got ripped out, trenches stayed in place, and I believe Georgie came out and reviewed the property, correct?
Yeah, the property owner had called us about drainage issues, so me and Rick went out to site to assist. We saw the damage of the pipes being taken out of the yard and all the ponding and pooling she was experiencing. The rear of her property slopes down towards her house. Her butter is Drymark Farms, and they did all that tree removal. So the water flows from that direction into her yard. So by installing this drainage system, it'll help her alleviate that ponding problem in her backyard. The reason for the permit is because she wants to drain it into the brook right next door.
okay. So I did have some questions. I went on the GIS and I went on Google Maps and stuff. I can't figure out where that brook is. And I couldn't figure out where Mr. Jarmark's property was because well, our information is not up to date on GIS, but all the properties around it weren't Mr. Jarmark, so I couldn't figure out.
So the property card
was
hasn't
what?
been updated yet. It's a
That's
newly
what I'm-
acquired parcel. The brook that's next door is not named. It's a small tributary. It's got a significant slope down, so it's probably
So it's
12
next
feet
door,
deep.
or is it in the
No,
back?
it's right on the property line
In the back?
between the two owners on the north side of the property. It's a very low-lying stream, goes under the street and continues on. Let me pull it up.
And then, of course, will the stream be able to handle all this additional, or does it already flow there anyways?
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's already flow there. In Kennedy Drive, if you actually go out there, there's a storm structure on top of the stream. So you guys actually feed all the water from Kennedy goes right into this. So what we're adding is a fraction of what already is going in there. So you're taking everything off the pavement and it already goes right into the stream. So this would be obviously a smaller system. It's alleviating the water at the top of the property that's isolated pretty much to one steady path coming down the middle of the property and then spreads. But she can't properly use, obviously, the backyard for the majority of the year. So essentially what we do is we make our own basins. It's all 4-inch solid perf, stoned, wrapped, et cetera. So anything that is coming out, and mind you, when we are dumping it into the stream, we're still probably 30, 40 feet back from the stream. Can make a small plunge pool with a little riprap, make it decorative.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be getting any silt or anything along those lines into the stream from our system. But obviously, more importantly, I mean, Kennedy Drive dumps into the same stream. So whatever
So you're going to be improving it,
Yes.
yes,
basically.
clean water is going in.
That's better.
We're just diverting it.
That's
So.
nice. That's good.
Except for any fertilizer or whatever might be put on the lawn.
Yeah.
And I believe a few years, well, it's been probably a few years ago, wasn't there they came in for some logging that was just behind this parcel? Because the street was supposed to continue through, my understanding, back, because I live on Monroe, so.
Okay.
But yeah, that stream is pretty much always flowing.
Yeah, it's definitely active. I looked at it several months back, but it was pretty active when I was there.
I do just want to note that there is a 20-foot drainage right-of-way easement for the neighbors in that area to be able to drain there, and that our assistant town engineer completed his review of no concerns. He was one of the people she originally reached out to when the drainage started becoming a much larger issue than she experienced.
Yeah, I can definitely understand why. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for making it better.
Yeah.
I had concerns about chemicals from the farm, and I didn't want to penalize the homeowner, but I was concerned about it going into the brook. Now your explanation
Oh, absolutely.
has taken care of my concerns, so thank you.
Anybody else have any
No, there was, I didn't see,
comments? Yeah.
yeah, there's no, so there's no, they're happy, there's no comments under planning
No,
or
it's
engineering.
pretty straightforward. I kind of wish more property owners would ask about wetlands permits before they did drainage work in their backyard. But this is one of the benefits that when you hire drainage professionals, that it helps alleviate your backyard issues, especially with wetlands. So there were no major concerns, and we're going to keep an eye on the work as it goes through and probably do a site inspection when it's all done.
Okay,
Super.
super. Okay.
I will make a motion to approve IW number 706, 45 Kennedy Drive, application for a wetlands permit to replace the stormwater drainage system. Drainage Pros applicant Greg Winnock, owner, map 103, lot 29, R44 zone.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Jenny, okay. So I have a first and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none, roll call?
Donna Corbin Savinsky.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Kelly Hemler.
Yes.
Chris Renault.
Yes.
Ken Kaufman.
6 in favor, motion passes. Thank
Perfect.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Excuse me, next on our agenda is IW 705, 1297 Enfield Street. Application for a wetland permit for site disturbances within the upland review area to allow for the development of elderly housing, Felician Sisters of North America Real Estate Trust, owner applicant, map 46, lot 2, HR 33 zone. Welcome.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the commission. For the record, Carl Landolina, Fahan Landolina of Windsor Locks, representing the applicant, Felician Sisters of North America Real Estate Trust. With me tonight, Stephanie White, who's the project engineer from Fuss & O'Neill, her associate Keith Goodrow, also from Fuss & O'Neill. Stephanie's going to give you an overview of the project. Keith will talk about the drainage. And last but not least, Dean Gustafson from All Points Technology Corporation, whose report you have on the screen in front of you, is a soil scientist, a wetland scientist, and he'll be discussing the lack, I guess, of any adverse impacts to the wetlands. Just very briefly, I think this is the first time we've been in front of you guys on this project. We're glad to get to this point because it's taken about 3 years to get here, but we're glad, and we think everything that's happened before has made the project better, and I think not only for the applicant and for the developer and also for the town of Enfield as well. So the proposal here is, if you're familiar with the campus, adjacent to the Little Sisters of Poor property, which is the institutionalized care facility, which everyone thinks that is part of our property, but it's not. That's a different group, a different parcel. Adjacent to that is a vacant building known as the St. Felix property. It's been vacant for some time. The goal here is to take the St. Felix building, add an addition onto it, and create 45 units of senior housing, or as your regulations call it, not yours, but the zoning regulations, housing for the elderly, which I object to, but because I'm apparently elderly, so, under your definitions, but there you go. So they're going to be all 41 single bedroom units, 1-bedroom units, and 4 studio units, okay, inside. Just it's funded in part by grants from Department of Housing and Urban Development. We don't need to get into that, but in any event, that's sort of the brief overview, and Stephanie can take you through the actual plans as they sit today. Thank you. You want the
Do you
mic?
mind just putting on,
The mouse is right next to you, right near Carl's folder.
oh, perfect, thank you. Just pull up the rendering here, so, okay. Good evening, Madam Chair and Commission members. For the record, my name is Stephanie White. I'm a licensed landscape architect with the engineering consulting firm Fuss & O'Neill in Manchester, Connecticut. And as Carl mentioned, we're here to seek approval for disturbance within the 100-foot upland review area, and that disturbance consists of grading and earthwork, as well as access drive needed. So, and of that disturbance, it is 1.33 acres of disturbance that we're seeking, and of that, which equates to 58,148 square feet, and of that disturbance, the driveway consists of 9,276 square feet. So I'll just briefly, Carl already kind of walked through the existing conditions, but just to orient everybody here. So to the north, on South Roads to the north of the property, and then working our way from north to south, we have the convent and the church. And then from there, we have the Enfield Montessori School. And then just south of that is the Orrin Thompson home. And behind that is the St. Joseph elderly housing. And then our project here, which is the St. Felix Center. And then also on campus, there's a number of outbuildings and garages and a greenhouse and a chicken coop, which is part of the Enfield Montessori School programming. And then you can see here in yellow is our wetlands line, delineated wetlands line, and then the dashed line is our 100-foot upland review area, which mostly consists of lawn area there is today and some scrub growth. The existing topography, both slopes down west and east, sort of where the main buildings in the middle point of the campus, there's a high point ridge, and half the site slopes towards Enfield Street, and the other half slopes down towards the wetland, towards 91. So for the proposal, as Carl mentioned, we're looking to renovate the existing vacant St. Felix Center and add the addition on for the 45 units of elderly housing. Currently, vehicular access is limited to St. Felix Center. The only vehicular access point is from the Little Sisters of the Poor and that fire access drive here out in front. And that drive is very narrow and very steep, with areas where it's in excess of over 10%, so making it infeasible for to provide our vehicular access to the new addition. So we're looking at adding a new access drive off the existing maintenance drive to the east and connecting into a new 50-car parking lot behind the addition. It was really imperative that we kept this access drive separated from the Enfield Montessori School circulation systems and their uses. We didn't want to add another vehicular access crossing point. The children use the open lawn areas, they use the chicken coop and the greenhouses, so we really want to keep that segregated uses, and that's why it really is at that lower point on the eastern edge and separated away from Enfield Montessori's uses, so that there's all contained with it. And then our addition includes also a gravel fire access lane going out to the west, a dumpster refuge area, and then 2 courtyard amenity spaces for the residents. And we have proposed abundant plantings throughout to keep in continuity with that campus feel, and many of the plantings will be native as well. And then obviously seeding of our new bioretention basins that my colleague Keith will now give you a brief overview of the stormwater and drainage.
Hi, thank you. Thank you. My name's Keith Gurr. I'm from Fuss & O'Neill. I'm a licensed professional engineer who worked on this project. And just want to start off kind of reiterating what Stephanie was saying, that basically the site has been graded to basically continue the flow to the high point in the middle of the site to the east to the I-91. We are going to be raising grade to basically build up a pad for the parking lot and for the new building that's going to be adjacent to the Felix building. We did incorporate 2 large retention basins. There's a larger one that is going to be east of the parking lot that's going to capture all the parking lot, all the new building, the St. Felix building, part of the driveway, and then, oh, is there another plan?
Yeah, I'm totally lost here, so.
Just go to next page.
Yeah.
Sort of in the right
Yeah.
Oh, page down, okay. Yeah, so this is our large retention basin here that's going to pick up all the parking lot drainage, the new building, the existing St. Felix building, and part of the driveway. There's another smaller basin here that's going to pick up the majority of the driveway or the access driveway along here. The basins have been sized to for the water quality volume to retain on site, and they're going to reduce peak flows from under existing conditions. And again, just to be clear, the entire water quality volume for the project area will be retained within the 2 basins on site. The stormwater management system has been designed in accordance with the Town of Enfield standards and with the Connecticut State Stormwater Manual. For erosion control standard measure or sediment control measures, we are going to follow the 2023 Connecticut Erosion Control Standard Guidelines. There'll be silt fence placed at the base of all fill slopes and the perimeter of all work areas. We will be using catch basin inserts within the frames to prevent the sediment or transfer of sediment into the stormwater management system. Additionally, we'll be adding hay bales combined with silt fence along the wetland areas as added protection to keep sediment out of the wetlands. We will be installing erosion control matting on all slopes greater than 3:1 and where we have concentrated flow. We will be using a construction entrance to gain access to and from the site to prevent transfer of sediment from the project area. And all the erosion sediment control implemented on the construction site will be inspected in accordance with the requirements provided in the State of Connecticut General Permit for the discharge of stormwater and dewatering wastewater from construction activities. The requirements of the Stormwater General Permit require the contractor to provide inspection reports after rain events. Last, we will be implementing an O&M plan for post-construction. Upon completion of the construction project, there will be an ongoing requirement for the stormwater management system. The guidelines and requirements are provided in the stormwater report that's been submitted to the Commission and are in conformance with the guidelines provided in the Connecticut State Guidelines for Soil Erosion and Sediment Control, as well as the Stormwater Quality Manual. And I think that's all I have for stormwater management.
Good evening, folks. My name is Dean Gustafson. I'm a professional soil scientist and senior wetland scientist with All Points Technology Corporation, Waterford, Connecticut. I've been a wetland consultant in Connecticut for over 35 years. And like yourselves, I volunteer my time on the Lebanon Inland Wetland Commission, where I've been a member for 28 years now. So I commend you all on balancing development with the protection of wetland resources in Enfield. We were originally engaged on this project back in 2021. Performed a wetland investigation and determined that jurisdictional wetlands are located along the eastern limit of the subject boundary. The majority of this wetland feature is actually located on the DOT right-of-way property, but portions do extend onto the subject parcel, particularly in the northeastern portion of the site. And then the upland review area associated with that feature extends throughout the majority of the eastern side of the property. And that's the reason why we're here before tonight, because we do, the project, as you've heard, does include some activities within the upland review area. There are no direct wetland impacts, which is always a benefit. And so we earlier this year, back in May, we updated the wetland investigation, refreshed the flags, took some additional data with respect to the functions and values of the wetland system, so we could assess what the project impacts would be both to the wetland system and secondarily to the upland review area. By and large, this wetland system has a general lack of available functions and values, and that's mainly associated with the historic disturbances in development, both on the site and 91. There's a lot of stormwater inputs from 91, essentially untreated stormwater discharging into the wetland system, which generally drains from the north to the south. So those historic development disturbances, including some vegetation management that's associated with the existing facility, have altered some of the ecological integrity of this wetland system. And as a result, it provides limited functions and values. You know, some of the functions you would typically think for a wetland system, you know, wildlife habitat, water quality functions, flood storage capacity. There is a drainage swale located within the interior, kind of eastern end of that system on the DOT property that helps convey some flows. So it doesn't have a lot of attenuation or retention time of any stormwater that reaches that wetland system, essentially flows through. So it doesn't have a lot of residence time to treat, you know, for water quality. So its main principal function is conveyance of surface and stormwater. So when we looked at the project, proposed project impacts, the project's not going to have any effect on diminishing those limited functions and values of this wetland system. As you heard from Keith, they've designed a sensitive stormwater management system that will properly treat the stormwater quality volume before it discharges to the upland review area, which eventually filters into the wetland system located nearby. The benefit of having two separate stormwater systems is that it helps spread out the wetland hydrology so that there isn't a chance that you're going to dry up the northern end of the wetland if you had a very large basin at the very southern end. That may be a potential concern, but it isn't with this attentive design for stormwater management. Most of the upland review area consists of kind of landscaping and maintained lawn. So there isn't a solid, dense, forested buffer habitat to this wetland system. So the proposed activities within the upland review area, you know, won't have any secondary effects to this kind of limited wetland feature. So just to sum it up, considering that the project avoids any direct wetland impact and work within the upland review areas, primarily within existing maintained and disturbed areas, and the project won't diminish any wetland functions or values, we feel the project will not result in a likely adverse impact to this wetland system. So we respectfully request that the agency look favorably on this application and issue approval. And we're happy to answer any questions you may have. You're welcome.
It doesn't look like there's a lot of trees, a lot of vegetation, but will any of the trees or vegetation be removed in the project?
There is a line of trees, particularly kind of the northern portion of the project along the lawn edge. There's a single line of trees. It's mainly eastern white pine, and they're relatively large, mature trees, eastern white pine and some silver and sugar maples. Those will need to get removed as part of the required access road to gain access. Yes, exactly. That's the area.
Will you be replacing them,
So
even if it's in a different spot?
there is a landscape plan that's being proposed as part of the project. And
I just want to correct, the line of silver maples will remain.
Oh, good, okay.
Thanks. Thank you for the clarification. Thank
We
you.
worked to that with grading for those line of silver maples here. The access road is outside of
Yeah, so it looks like, yeah, thank you for that clarification. So it looks like just a couple of the eastern white pines in the very northern end would get removed. So-
Okay, thank you.
Oh, hi. So we've been working with the applicant for a long time now. The wetlands, we knew what was there and what they'd be coming in for, so it was pretty easy to tell that this is an application without pretty much basically no impact to the existing wetlands on the site. I had no concerns from any of our departments. Engineering likes the proposal. They indicate that the proposed attention will attenuate the design peak flows of the site to meet town standards, so there's no concerns there. And then my one recommended site-specific that future detention basin maintenance may be authorized as an agent approval.
Perfect, thank you. Any more discussions or questions, concerns? No? Okay.
All right, I will make a motion to approve IW number 705, 1297 Enfield Street, application for a wetlands permit for site disturbances within the upland review area to allow for the development of elderly housing, Felician Sisters of North America Real Estate Trust, owner applicant, map 46, lot 2, HR 33 zone. With a site-specific condition that the detention basin maintenance may be authorized as an agent approval.
Second.
Kelly, thank you. So we have a first and a second. Any more discussion, concerns? Roll call, please.
Donna Corbin Savinsky.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Kelly Hemler.
Yes.
Chris Renault.
Yes.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
6 in favor, motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck with your
Thank you,
project.
folks.
And thank you, we moved you so, yeah, because yours would go a little bit longer, so I hope you didn't mind.
Nope, not at all.
Perfect, thank you. Okay. I'm gonna tell you that.
Excuse me.
I know, they're heavy.
You want me to get rid of this?
Yes, please. Yeah, I'm getting rid of that. Thank you. So next would be enforcement reports.
Nothing to report on.
Okay.
Just a quick read.
Yeah, go ahead.
Any word on Yankee Candle? I know you pushed it to the town attorney.
Right, it got pushed back to deep, so Rick is gonna do probably a violation of zoning to see what we can do on the zoning side.
Excellent. Thank you.
I was wondering too if we could, at our next meeting, just get a little update on we have outstanding.
Like a recap?
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. It's been a little while, that's all. But I know Rick has been busy and, yeah.
No worries.
That'd be perfect, thank you. Planning staff report?
Just one thing, the 51st anniversary of the Kakiwa Conference is going to be held on November 16th on a Saturday at the Bristol Event Center. They're going to have Superior Court Judge Marshall Berger giving a presentation. He used to be one of our judges who did a lot of our cases when he was still working before retirement. Connecticut Rep. Mary Mushinsky will be there, and Dr. Jason White, who will be giving a agricultural demonstration of some sort at that conference. And if you are interested in attending this year's conference, just give us an email so we can get that registration rolling for you.
Okay, thanks. And that was November 16th, a Saturday?
Yes.
Okay.
It'll be a Saturday at the Bristol Event Center.
Bristol, okay. Applications to be received.
Just real quick, for the new people, it's
Yes,
usually a really good day. A lot of training, you can kind of pick from different sessions. So what you're kind of more interested in, there's usually a legal update session that's really
Which
good.
is good. Yeah.
Well, it's, as it pertains to wetlands, and it's been very helpful in a lot of our
I do
things.
recommend it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a good program and usually pretty good food.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
okay.
Free food.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed them. Yeah, it's been good. So if you can go, that's great. Applications to be received?
None to be received.
None, okay. Miscellaneous? I don't have anything. Anybody? No. Our next meeting is the 16th, and it will be our public hearing with amendment changes. And motion to adjourn?
Are we going to still do that at 6?
Yes.
Okay.
6 PM, yeah. Because it's concerts are still going on.
I move to adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
Okay.
And it's
Ginny and Chris, and it's 6:50.
6:50.
All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned.